Hello everyone, my name is Krishita Deglurka from grade 7A. Today I would like to present on the topic nutrition in animals. So what is nutrition? Nutrition is the process of taking food inside our body and then using it for digestion and nutrients. Types of nutrition are classified into two types: heterotrophic nutrition and autotrophic nutrition. So what is heterotrophic nutrition? Heterotrophic nutrition is when animals are unable to make their own food and depend on other plants and organisms for their food. Meanwhile, autotrophic nutrition is when organisms make their own food in the presence of carbon dioxide, sunlight, and using water from soil. Plants are autotrophs or autotrophic organisms. Animals, including human beings, are heterotrophic or heterotrophs. The various steps involved in the process of digestion are: ingestion. Ingestion is when we take in the food inside our body, when it goes in our mouth, and when we start chewing in, when the salivary glands produce saliva. That process is called ingestion. Digestion is when the food that we are eating is turned into a simpler and soluble substance. It's converted into a simpler and soluble substance. Absorption is when all of these nutrients are transported to the blood vessels and then to the tissues of our body, giving us nutrients. Assimilation is when all of those absorbed nutrients are then turned into a compound mixture for the growth and functioning of our body. Digestion is when all of this food or the undigested parts which are not digested and they are not absorbed for nutrition are removed outside the body. Ingestion in animals. So ingestion takes place differently in different animals. So the first example I've used is honeybee uses its feeding tube to suck nectar from flowers. So for them to get their food, they suck nectar from flowers to get their food. And then amoeba, they use their false feet or pseudopodia to take in food inside their body. Humans use their hands to ingest food inside their mouth. A mosquito uses its feeding tube to suck blood from animals. Nutrition in human beings. The various steps involved in the digestion, or not even steps, the organs involved in the digestion of food are buccal cavity or mouth, stomach, large intestine, esophagus, small intestine, rectum and anus. Buccal cavity or mouth. This is when the digestion starts. Digestion begins in the mouth. So the buccal cavity or mouth consists of teeth, salivary glands and a tongue. So what are salivary glands exactly? Salivary glands produce a moist, watery substance called saliva, which makes the food more softer to chew so that it can go to our esophagus. Then we have teeth. Teeth breaks down this food into a simpler and soluble form. And then we have tongue, which helps us to recognize the taste. So saliva is not the only, salivary glands are not the only glands present in our body. We have at least 3 glands in our mouth, and the rest are liver, pancreas and gallbladder. So these 3 produce a digestive juice, which are used for converting the food into a soluble form and for the absorption. They are for assimilation and for creating a more compound substance. Now we have teeth. So we use our teeth for talking and also for eating. So the first set of 20 teeth appear between the ages of 0 to 5. Then they start falling between the ages of 6 to 8. And then they are replaced by 32 permanent teeth. And there are 4 types of teeth: incisors, canines, premolars and molars. The location in the mouth. Incisors are present in front. There are 4 in the upper jaw and 4 in the lower jaw. Canines are sharp teeth which are present next to the incisors on both sides of jaw. Two in the upper jaw and two in the lower jaw. Premolars are next to the canines on both sides of jaw, four in the upper jaw and four in the lower jaw. Molars are next to premolars on both sides of jaw, six in upper jaw, six in lower jaw. Their functions: incisors are used for cutting and biting food, canines are used for piercing and tearing through food, premolars are used for chewing and grinding food, molars are also used for the same purpose. So they convert the food into a paste so that it can go to our esophagus. Tongue. Tongue has a rough and bumpy surface. It is a fleshy muscular organ which is free at the front and it is enclosed and blocked at the back. Our tongue, of course, helps us to talk. It helps us to transfer the chewed food to our esophagus and to our food pipe. Basically, it helps us to transfer it. It also helps us to sense tastes. Like the basic four tastes are bitter, sour, sweet, and salty or spicy. These are the normal tastes, and the bumpy surface present or the rough surface present on our tongue is the taste buds. They are the taste buds. Esophagus or food pipe. The esophagus or food pipe are part of the alimentary canal. All of these organs are part of the alimentary canal, which is a 9 to 10 meters long canal. The esophagus is at least about 18 to 25 centimeters long. Esophagus passes the food to the stomach. So its main function is to pass the food to the stomach, but to pass this food it consists of walls. So the walls on the esophagus, they go through something called peristaltic movement. Peristaltic movement does constant contraction and relaxation so that the food can go to our stomach. Stomach. Stomach is the J-shaped muscular sac-like organ of our body. It opens into the small intestine and at the start it's connected with the esophagus. It's in the upper abdomen and it is the widest part in the alimentary canal. So as you can see, this is the J-shaped. As you can see, it's J-shaped and it's a sac-like shaped muscular organ. So our stomach has a main function of doing chemical digestion. So how does this take place? So the stomach has various compounds or chemicals, we can say, which are used for this chemical digestion. The first is mucus. Mucus protects the inner lining of stomach from acids and enzymes. Then we have hydrochloric acid or HCl. So whatever the germs or the diseases or any bacteria which come along with food, the hydrochloric acid kills them and makes the food acidic. Next we have pepsin. So if I eat any protein rich food, the pepsin converts this into a more soluble form. It breaks down proteins. Small intestine. The small intestine is a highly coiled tube about 7.5 meters long. It is used for the absorption. Digestion and absorption of food takes place in the small intestine. So as you can see, as the stomach opens free into the small intestine. So this is the small intestine. As you can see, it's really highly coiled. The absorption of food mainly takes place here. So whatever food we are eating, it goes into absorption and it is transferred to our blood vessels and then to our tissues. This is the main function of the small intestine. Next we have liver and pancreas. So as I mentioned before, liver and pancreas are the glands, as I mentioned before. So the liver is the second largest part of our body. The liver is reddish brown in color and produces a bile juice which converts fats into fatty acids, into a more soluble form or into glycerol. So whatever fatty rich food, it converts it into an energy reserve. Then the pancreas. The pancreas are in the upper abdomen and they are behind the stomach. So they also create something called pancreatic juice, which is mostly used for converting starch into a sugar form, and it helps us to give energy. Both liver and pancreas give us energy. The liver also does this extra function of detoxifying whatever drugs or whatever chemicals that come along. Next, we also have gallbladder. So what is gallbladder? Gallbladder works in tandem with the liver. It's a sac-like organ. It just stores temporarily the bile juice for some time. Absorption in small intestine. So the absorption of small intestine is when the nutrients are transferred to the blood vessels and then to the tissues of the body. Digested food is absorbed by the walls of the small intestine. So the small intestine consists of finger-like projection called villi or villus for singular. So what this villus does, it consists of small capillaries. So these capillaries transfer all of this to our body. Okay, so they are basically blood vessels. So what villi does is whenever the food needs to be absorbed, the nutrients need to be absorbed, the villi takes that in and then transfers it to the capillaries of our body. As you can see, they are finger like projections, villi or villus. Assimilation is when the nutrients absorbed are converted into a compound so that we can use it for the growth and functioning of our body. And it's also transferred to our blood vessels. So when we eat food like proteins is converted into amino acids. Fats are converted into fatty acids, and or they're converted into glycerol. This is the process of assimilation, and it is carried out to the capillaries of our body. Egestion is the process when food is removed outside the body in the form of waste. In the form of waste material. So whatever the undigested food which has not been absorbed or the nutrients have not been absorbed and it's undigested, so it reaches the large intestine. So what is the large intestine? The large intestine is wide, but it is not as long as the small intestine. It is at least 1.5 meters long. So as you can see in this picture, this is the large intestine. So from here, whatever the food that we are eating goes out. So it goes out throughout the rectum and anus, and it just carries all the waste and throws it out. Rumination is the grass which is eaten by some animals. Like we cannot eat grass, and some various other animals can. For example, cow, goat, sheep, giraffes, and buffaloes, they can eat grass, and the grass consists of a specific carbohydrate called cellulose. So what does cellulose do? When the cow starts eating the grass, which consists of cellulose, it chews it, and then it directly goes to a part of its stomach called rumen. So when it goes to rumen, it is transferred back into small chunks. So when it is inside, it's called cud. And then this cud is brought back into small chunks, again chewed properly and back into the rumen. This is the process of rumination, and the animals who do rumination are called ruminants. Digestion in amoeba. Amoeba is a unicellular organism. It uses its false feet or pseudopodia to take in food inside the body. So it consists of vacuoles. These vacuoles take the food in, and whatever is undigested, it throws it out. So like the amoeba, as you can see in this picture, it's very wobbly, and then it just starts moving, and whatever food it gets, it takes it in inside the body. And it uses its false feet called pseudopodia. So it helps it take it inside, and then they are stored in vacuoles, and the undigested parts of that food is like taken out of the amoeba. So that's it. Thank you.